Hey everyone, and welcome back to another Explainer. Today, we're diving into a massive and honestly highly misunderstood challenge in facility management: institutional wayfinding logistics. Look, if you manage a large-scale facility, you already know that keeping people moving efficiently is like solving a giant dynamic puzzle. You aren't just slapping signs on a wall, you're literally engineering how thousands of people interact with a living, breathing environment. And to truly master this space, to be the absolute expert in the room, you have to look way past basic aesthetics and start optimizing the underlying operations.
And that brings us to the ultimate question for literally any operational leader. How do you rebrand a living campus without stopping it? Because anyone who's ever managed a major facility understands the absolute agony of downtime. I mean, whether you're running a sprawling university or a critical care hospital, shutting down corridors for weeks, dealing with toxic paint fumes, disrupting patient care, it's just not an option. Your buildings have to stay highly active even while the navigation systems get a complete top-to-bottom overhaul.
Okay, let's dive into this. We've got a tight playbook today. We'll start with the wayfinding logistics puzzle, then explore the direct-to-wall solution, dissect a really cool 5-hour installation process, map out strategic phase rollouts, and wrap up by measuring wayfinding success.
All right, part 1, the wayfinding logistics puzzle, solving the systemic challenge of campus operations.
So, in large facilities, hospitals spanning multiple buildings, 200-acre university campuses, speed and minimal disruption are basically your operational currency. Every single hour of downtime burns money. And traditional methods? They just can't keep up. Traditional signage is a reactive maintenance nightmare. Vinyl wall coverings peel the second they get hit by a heavy luggage cart or a gurney. Wallpaper bubbles in humid hallways. You're looking at a super frustrating 3 to 5 year fail cycle. But the direct-to-wall standard? It's a game changer. It offers predictable, seamless integration, it sits completely flush with the wall, it's rated for high-touch environments, and you get a 7 to 10-year lifespan. It literally eliminates the friction we've always just accepted with traditional substrates.
Moving right into Section 2, the direct-to-wall solution, a total paradigm shift in institutional branding.
So, the crucial point is that this isn't just an upgrade in materials. It's a fundamental shift in how we think about our walls. Facility leaders really need to move the narrative from just buying signs to investing in a permanent, high-tech architectural system. Direct-to-wall technology uses industrial-grade inkjet printing with UV-cured inks that bond directly and permanently to drywall, CMU block, concrete, and finished surfaces, all completely without vinyl or adhesives. If you know facility maintenance, you know the absolute headache of prepping a substrate on rough CMU block or raw concrete. This bypasses all of that, turning the wall itself into a photorealistic graphic.
Let's break down exactly why this changes the game for operations teams. First off, say goodbye to those dreaded adhesion failures. Gone. You get a flush, seam-free installation at a massive architectural scale. And here's the big one for healthcare and education. It easily endures heavy foot traffic and incredibly harsh institutional cleaning products. I'm talking about the heavy bleach and ammonia-based sanitizers used in infection control zones. They won't damage this finish. Plus, when a department eventually relocates, because they always do, these are paint-over-ready finishes. And since the printing happens right there on site, you completely skip the shipping delays and off-site fabrication errors that usually totally derail a tight facility schedule.
Okay, Phase 3, the 5-hour installation, precision execution with zero disruption. Now, the true measure of an expert installation is how invisibly your team can operate inside an occupied, living facility. Here's exactly how a 600-square-foot directional graphic gets deployed in roughly 5 hours. Step 1, surface prep and protection. That takes just 30 to 45 minutes. Step 2 is the actual print execution, taking about 2.5 to 3.5 hours. Step 3 is curing and a quality check, done in under 45 minutes. And finally, Step 4, a quick final polish. Now, what's entirely missing from this timeline? Think about it. No dust, no toxic fumes, no scaffolding, and absolutely no cautious yellow tape blocking off your busy hallways. You could literally print and finish a huge wall mural in a hospital corridor between 6 a.m. and 11 a.m., long before morning rounds even peak. The space opens up immediately. Now, what's really interesting about this next slide is this massive metric right here, 25,000. When you upgrade your logistics to this standard, you can operate at an incredible scale without losing any cohesion.
That 25,000 represents a real-world university client. They needed to help 25,000 students intuitively navigate a massive 200-acre campus. Now, sticking traditional signs on every corner would have been insanely expensive, visually cluttered, and just chaotic. Instead, by leveraging direct-to-wall tech, they rolled out a systemic floor-level color coding system. So each academic quad got a distinct color. Every building got accent colors tied to specific departments, floor markers, arrows, murals. They all reinforced this visual hierarchy. And the result? Students learned the entire system in days. Navigation became completely intuitive, and they practically eliminated signage clutter across all 200 acres.
Which brings us to Section 4, Strategic Phased Rollouts, designing scalable, cohesive systems. Look, real wayfinding isn't just slapping a cool mural on a wall. It's a systemic rollout mapped meticulously to your operational calendar. You can't, and really shouldn't, refresh everything at once. Let's see how this builds across a standard 24-month timeline for a large institution. Phase 1, the first 8 months, you're targeting high-traffic entry and orientation spaces. Establish that visual identity first. Then Phase 2, months 9 through 16, you expand into academic and departmental buildings, tailoring graphics to specific needs, like, say, lab safety protocols in the science wings. Finally, Phase 3 covers residence halls and rec facilities. Phasing it out exactly like this spreads the workload, allows you to gather continuous feedback, and completely prevents those dreaded campus shutdowns.
And honestly, the brilliant part happens after month 24. This methodology shifts your maintenance entirely from being reactive to being totally strategic, often through subscription-based refresh models. So instead of pleading for a massive, highly disruptive capital project every 10 years, administrators commit to updating just 15 to 20% of their wayfinding annually. As departments shuffle around or branding evolves, the campus stays perfectly current. It transforms your facility's aesthetics into a continuously managed service that fits smoothly and predictably right into your annual operating budget.
Finally, Section 5. Measuring wayfinding success, empirical ROI and verified performance. Because as experts, we know that just looking nice doesn't cut it in a board meeting. You have to back up operational claims with hard, trackable data. Look at how methodically we can measure this. For wayfinding effectiveness, we actually track navigation speed by timing campus tours before and after installation. For operational feedback, we monitor staff interruptions by counting front desk lost visitor inquiries, because let's face it, your highly trained staff has much better things to do than point out the restrooms 50 times a day. We verify life cycle durability by tracking maintenance requests at 6, 12, and 24 months, and we gauge brand perception through internal surveys. This right here is how facilities teams legitimately lower staff anxiety, improve the patient or student experience, and prove undeniable ROI to stakeholders.
And to really hammer home just how reliable this methodology is, I want to leave you with one final powerful number: 8.
Using this exact playbook, the direct-to-wall tech, the 5-hour installation window, the strategic phasing, an 8-building hospital campus recently rolled out totally seamless, highly durable wayfinding in under 8 weeks. In a healthcare environment where critical patient care is happening 24/7, achieving that massive level of visual transformation in just 8 weeks without shutting down a single critical corridor, that is the absolute pinnacle of logistical predictability and mastery.
Which leaves us with this final thought. Are you ready to move past piecemeal signage and actually engineer a true campus navigation system? You've got the playbook now. You know the tech, the timeline, and the metrics. The only real question left is how quickly you're going to apply this to completely revolutionize your own facility's operations. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep learning.